Say, man, you see my crab cakes? Till I'm all alone. If you see my crab cakes, tell her things went wrong. Don't call on the phone and bring a black draw home. Best in town. Them Maryland crab cakes are the best in town. So come on, baby, let's get Louisiana down. If you see my crab cake, have you seen my crab cake? If you see my crab cake, tell I'm all alone. Tell her I still love her. And when she come back home,
it's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire across the web, on Fight Now TV, and on radio stations around the world. It's the only daily boxing talk radio show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of boxing talk radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
We're coming to you live from the Billy C studio in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero. It's time for Talking Boxing with Billy C. Good morning, good day, good evening. Whenever you listen, hope you're doing all right. Don't forget the show's being brought to you in part by Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service. If you're looking for a limo and you're looking for a hot driver, you need to give Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation a call, 202-351-7496. And Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service is the official limo service of the Billy C Boxing Hall of Fame induction weekend, which is taking place November 16th, 17th, and 18th. Mark it down in your calendar now. We got some great stuff I'm going to be releasing about that as soon as the other Hall of Fame next week, the International Boxing Hall of Fame, is over. So make sure you make your plans now for ours. And speaking of the International Boxing Hall of Fame, well, I'm going to be up there. I know a lot of the other members of the team here, the Billy C Boxing team, will be there. I'm only going to be there Friday night, and Saturday I am going to be sharing a table at the card shop with my man Clay Moyle. So look for me there. We're going to be giving out some information about the show and also, of course, my new book that's coming out. So make sure you check that out. The show is also being brought to you in part by Campanaro and Tomkovich. That's right. If you need a lawyer, use the ones that keep my ass out of trouble. That's Campanaro and Tomkovich, 845-221-4099. And the show's also being brought to you in part by my buddies over at the Halftime Bar and Grill, Route 9, South Glens Falls, New York. Give them a call, 518-792-4869. If you haven't checked that place out, the hell you waiting for, man? You know, you got to check it out. They got the outdoor section open, and there's always a drink special. There's always food specials, and most important, there's always great people to hang out with. So check it out, 518-792-4869, Route 9, South Glens Falls. And speaking of South Glens Falls, give a shout-out to all my WMML listeners. What's up? You know, hey, was that a storm or what? And speaking of storm, yeah, okay, all my WMML listeners know what I'm talking about. Man, did we get hit with a storm. As you know, I did not do a live show yesterday because the studio didn't have any power for 30 hours. That's right, 30 hours. And I'm blaming Alex Papali, because I was on the phone with him, and we got into an argument. Not really an argument, but a discussion, and he was disagreeing with me. And I said, oh, yeah, well, such and such and such and such. And that was the last power I saw, and that was the end of that. But the bottom line is we're back. Better than ever. But, you know, I will tell you, we had hail. I never saw hail as big as what came down. Size of golf balls, man, destroyed my pride and joy, my car. I have a car that I beat around all the time, and then I have my pride and joy. And that one, of course, was the one that got destroyed. So that sucks. I'm pretty pissed about that. But, hey, before we get into the mailbag, I wanted everybody to give you an update on, you know, where do you think we should be broadcasting live from, the Billy C Show. Right now, it's a poll question up on BillyCBoxing.com. Check it out, www.BillyCBoxing.com. And right now, Lake George has got, Las Vegas is ahead. 33.3% of you so far have picked Las Vegas. You think I should be doing this show live from Las Vegas. The next one is right where I am right now. 25% say Lake George. And then we got tied for the third spot, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and New York City at 16.7%. And following up the rear, South Florida, 8.3% of you think South Florida, and 0% of you think Chicago. That's crazy. I guess David Diaz and I were out of the picture, huh? But anyway, cast your vote. Where do you think we should be doing the show live from? And your vote, very well. The winner of this little poll may decide exactly where we're going to be doing it. Trust me when I tell you. Can't really talk about that. Hey, I got some big news. July 20th in Whitehall, New York. There's going to be a pro boxing event that we're going to be involved in. Stay tuned for more information. It will be available for free, the way all webcasts should be. And yours truly will be calling the action. And the Whitehall Athletic Club, check it out, www.whitehallathleticclub.com is where it's going to be at. And I should be doing some information, I should be giving you some more information about this event real soon. So especially people in the local area. And if you're anywhere in New York, this is a great time to come on up to the Lake George area and check out some boxing on a Friday night, because July 20th is a Friday night. Then spend the rest of the weekend in Lake George, man. You won't regret it. Bring the family, bring the friends, bring the dog. No, leave the dog home. Nah, bring the dog, but just don't bring him to the fights. Whitehall Athletic Club in Whitehall, New York, live show. I'm going to be broadcasting it live. It'll be a webcast, but we want to pack the place, pack the house, because we're looking to do that in Whitehall frequently. So, you know, I mentioned real quick the Boxing Hall of Fame, the International Boxing Hall of Fame is next weekend, and I will be there Friday. So if you want to hang out, you know how anybody that's been listening to the show knows that we kind of hang out and then make a plan Friday night to do something, have a little impromptu get together. So you can find my fat ass near the Sausage and Pepper tent. Probably somewhere around 1 p.m., between 1 and 2 p.m., I'll be hanging around woofing down some S&Ps. And, come on by, say hello, and then, you know what, we'll make a plan. So I know that Alex and I have already discussed some possibilities where we're going to feed our fat asses. At least one of the nights, he's got me remembering a good meal we had last year, so. But unfortunately, I got a split right out sometime during Saturday afternoon, so I could be back to do the post-fight show right here on Fight Now for the Manny Pacquiao and Timothy Bradley fight. So mark that one down, too. Here we go. Everybody, anytime I miss a show, I get all these emails. You ruined my day. I'm getting these. What happened to the show, man? What happened to the show? I had to drive to work without listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show, hey, I got on a treadmill and I had to re-listen to yesterday's show. Hey, relax, man. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I know how addictive it gets. I do. Trust me. But anyway, we got an email from Shed 1983, and he says you have your rounds mixed up. He's referring to the Carl Froch fight. He says, you have your rounds mixed up. The third round was one-sided. It was so one-sided, I scored a 10-8 for Carl Froch. I also gave him the first and second, but they were close, but in his opinion, clear. And the fourth, which is obvious. He says, and for Calzaghe being overrated, a blind man can see he was not. Well, first of all, I guess you didn't listen to the second show. The first show I talked about the fight, and I thought I had it even 2-2 going into the fifth round. But then when I got to watch it, because the first time I watched the fight, I watched it one round at a time. There was different excerpts. I saw one round was recorded by one person, and so on and so forth. And then after the show, I went back and my man Kieran sent me the full version of it, and I watched it again, and I agreed that I was wrong, that I did not have it even going in, and the only round I ended up scoring for Lucien Boutte was round 2. So if you would have listened to the second show, Shed, you would have heard that, but I appreciate the email. As far as Calzaghe being overrated and a blind man can see he was not, I don't know, man. This whole show is based on opinions. My opinion is that he was overrated. That's it. That's the end of that. I mean, I also am in the minority of thinking that Larry Holmes was overrated. So, that's that. So that's my opinion. Even though I'm the only one on the planet, and I'm starting to soften up on Holmes, but at least Larry Holmes, traveled. Calzaghe didn't. But anyway, thanks for the email. Keep them up. We love that stuff. The next email I'm going to read is from Marky Mark. Marky Mark says, hey, Billy C., I haven't been able to catch the live show, but I catch it on YouTube. He says, I have a question about the Carl Froch fight. Should he have been disqualified for his corner jumping into the ring while the referee was still counting? Let me know if you've talked about this on the show, and I'll watch it. Yes, I have talked about this on the show, Marky Mark, but, the way that is technically... Definitely, he could have been. Carl Froch's team could have been disqualified for Eddie Hearns jumping in originally. He was the first one that jumped in, and then the rest of the corner followed. However, I blame it more on the referee. And if you would have played that show and watched that show, I blamed it more on the referee for losing control, because what he did do is he did wave his arms, which signifies that he was stopping the fight. And that is when Eddie Hearn jumped into the ring. If you watch the replay, that is when he jumped into the ring. And then the referee turns to Boutte and starts the count. He picks up the count with the corner. You see him pick up the count with the corner, and he starts picking up the count. So, it's a dicey situation, and I'm glad that they did not disqualify Team Froch for that. And to be honest with you, Boutte's team was not arguing the matter. They were... trying to get Lucien Boutte back in his corner on his stool. He was still in some trouble. So, yes, I think technically they could have, DQ'd him, but rightfully so, they did not. Hold that thought. I got a couple of more emails to read, all coming up in about 2.
If you're in upstate New York and you need a trucking company, then you need Vicelli Enterprises. Vicelli Enterprises is trucking at its finest. They have it all. Dump trucks, dump trailers, walk-in floors, flatbeds, flowboys, tankers, loaders, and a full line of roll-off containers for any job, big or small. Vicelli Enterprises is also the source for all your sand, gravel, and topsoil needs. Visit them on the web at RicelliTrucking.com or call 315-433-5115. That's 315-433-5115 and tell them Billy C sent you.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
We've got a great matchup tonight. Fighting out of the left corner is the #1 ranked contender.
No, he is not.
I'm sorry, but who are you?
I am the ideal computer. I am programmed to provide only fair and unbiased boxing rankings. This fighter is the number 15 ranked contender.
Fair and unbiased boxing rankings? That's a new concept.
Actually, it is not. The IBO has provided unbiased computerized rankings for many years.
Well, we've still got a great fight tonight, folks. In the left corner is the number 15 ranked contender.
The IBO, the champion of integrity. Learn more at IBOboxing.com.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you. I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
As a young boy, all Billy C dreamed about was one day having his own catchphrase.
And we're back. And we're back.
One boy, one dream, one day, everyone will say.
And we're back. 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 And we're back.
Catchphrase coming soon to a theater near you.
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C radio show. You're watching a replay on LDL TV. Glad you could join us, my man John. Still waiting for my invitation to a date with one of my two beautiful women. I have one of my dream women. They're both dreams. You know, of course, Dawn. She's been eluding me for a year now. And then gorgeous Michelle. What are you doing to me, John? Anyway, you know, I got my man David Allen in the chat room, and he's trying to teach me a thing or two. But, I don't know about that. We're reading the emails, and we got one from my man Bazooka. I haven't heard from him from a little bit. He says, hey, Billy, I nominate Gabe Montoya for a thumbs up. Have you seen his latest story? A letter from Golden Boy attorneys threatening legal action. He appears to be onto a story that Floyd Mayweather has tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs, and that there has been a cover-up involving Nevada, U.S. ADA, and Golden Boy. You know, I'll tell you what, man. When I saw this and when I read this, I was not that surprised. First of all, I will tell you this. Here's the deal. All right. I spoke to Gabe. Now, Gabe, and if you don't know who Gabe Montoya is, he's one of the main writers for Max Boxing. And, you know, he has not, he can't comment on anything. He can't comment on anything because of the threatening lawsuits from Golden Boy to Gabe. But here's the thing, and he explained some stuff to me. Nothing to do about Mayweather and Golden Boy and nothing. He has not commented on any of that. But he explained to me about the two different organizations that do the Olympic-style testing. And one of them was VADA, V-A-D-A, right? And VADA is the one that has uncovered, so to speak, the last two fighters that have tested positive, being Lamont Peterson and Andre Berto. And the thing about Lamont Peterson is you got to kind of put an asterisk next to him because he admitted, you know, being administered testosterone type drug for low testosterone. There I go. I said it good the first time, but you know what I mean, the T word. In the low levels that a doctor prescribed to him. And he admitted in the first fight that he used them as well, so that's why that whole issue. But when Andre Berto tested positive, you know, he was genuinely shocked and denied that he took anything else, and that's when Victor Conte made his comments and all of that. But bottom line is this: what he did tell me was that the level in which the two organizations, now I forget the other name, I forget the other Olympic style testing. There's VADA, VADA, and then there's another one. Might be USADA or something like that. I'm not sure, but USDA or something like that. But anyway, the USDA one, and I'm correct. I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. They test, but they are not required. They don't require to report any positive testing when it's at a low level. Like, let's just say, for argument's sake, and I may not be using the right terms, but for definition, let's say 4 out of a 5. So if you're marking 5 as being fully blown, loaded with the stuff, and 0 as being none, if you had 4 out of the 5. Or let me rephrase that. If 0's 0 and 5 is, you're loaded with the stuff. If you test 1, then the USDA, the USDA, or whatever it is, USADA, doesn't report it. But the VADA, VADA, they do. They report any trace. And he also explained to me that VADA, VADA, is also a lot more beneficial for the fighters. That they do above and beyond just the steroid testing, that they do, some medical testing. And in Andre Berto's case, they actually discovered that he was suffering from he was suffering from dehydration. So they were kind of helping him find out the reason. What is being reported, if you read the first article, the article about the Mayweather issue, is that Mayweather has been only using the USDA, the USADA, I think, is that what it's called, and he has not been tested by VADA. Now, all I'm going to give you now from this point on is my opinion. My opinion is, if he is cheating, I want to see him hanging from, well, I shouldn't use that term, but I want to see him definitely chastised for that, because, the bottom line is, and I got into a conversation with Alex Papali about this, it would make the guy evil, knowingly, especially up on his high horse saying that he's so against it. And I was all pro Mayweather, getting to the bottom of this. My hang-up is that before they instituted using this type of testing, that they should have educated all of the fighters and everyone that's involved with what you should take and what you shouldn't take, and guys like Victor Conte to explain why such small traces get detected in a VADA test and not the other one. And it could be the company that's packaging these pills. Like if you go on a GNC store, the company that packages a performance-enhancing drug, they get done running that run, then the next one they're running a nutrient or something like that, a vitamin supplement, and the trace of the PED is still on in that packaging system, and that's how these things could come up as positive. My point is simply this: I feel that we rushed everybody into testing because of the pedestal we put Floyd up on, and we all were kind of agreeing with Floyd that, hey, listen, we want an even playing field. Fair is fair, whether you like Floyd or not. He did have a good idea there. But if it does turn out that he is being handled special, and he's getting to pick his testing facility, and his is the one that allows that 1 notch out of 5, then he could be definitely popping the roids, and could explain why all of a sudden this guy doesn't seem to run out of gas, and he's seeming that he's going after fighters more and more. And I tell you something, man, if he turns out to be a guy that has tested positive, and I don't know I'm waiting for Gabe to finish his article and get all of the legal stuff out of the way. If that's the case, because he is on the cups, Gabe Montoya, you drop him an email and ask him to finish up with the story. I'm going to have him on the show as soon as it's all done. But some great stuff going on there. All I'm going to say is this: if Floyd turns out to be knowingly cheating, all you Floyd lovers, man, what you gonna say about that? What you gonna say about that? You know, man, Floyd is just a scourge. He's a scourge. I mean, forget about his talent. He's obviously very talented, but as a human being, scourge, whether he does PEDs or not. But thanks, Bazooka. My man Hawk says, if Joe Calzaghe is overrated, almost all boxers are overrated. Joe Calzaghe is well above Mayweather? Come on, Hawk. What are you sniffing something? Are you smoking something? You drunk? Listen, I can't stand Mayweather, but in a million years, I would never, ever, 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 ever say that Joe Calzaghe is even. Joe Calzaghe couldn't even put on. Couldn't even wrap the hands of Mayweather. Couldn't even put on his shoes, his boxing shoes. Mayweather is so far better than Joe Calzaghe. And I'm just saying this because of talent level and all of that stuff. Forget about them. They obviously could have never fought each other because of the size of the difference. But come on, man. Don't even mention Calzaghe in the same breath as Floyd Mayweather Jr. I mean, Floyd Mayweather Jr., like him or not, he's a great fighter. And yes, I'm using that term even though I don't like to with my own self. I don't like to use, the word great with fighters until after their career is over. But it's very easy to see that Floyd is going to be a Hall of Fame fighter regardless of what transpires with, his alleged PED use and all that stuff. But come on, man. You can't possibly think that Joe Calzaghe is even in the same breath as Floyd Mayweather in terms of talent level. Joe Calzaghe, listen, like I said, if you guys listened to the show that I was talking about that on, just like the BillyCBoxing Hall of Famer Greg Haugen said, even if you fight your sister for 50 times, your sister's going to win a couple, So I give Joe Calzaghe credit for walking away, unbeaten, with whatever 45 wins or whatever he had. I mean, listen, he deserves that, and he's probably going to get into the Hall of Fame based on that. But if you dissect his career and you look at, it would be, in my opinion, it would be equal to a baseball or football, American football team that always got to play in their home stadium. Never once had to travel and play in somebody else's backyard. And that's number one. Number two, it would be like the same baseball or football or basketball team that not only got to play in their own backyard, but they got to play the lesser quality teams all the time. And then you're going to say that they're the best team. So that's my, connection with Joe Calzaghe. Did he win? Did he beat a couple known fighters in the history of throughout his career? Yes. Is he undefeated? Should he get credit for being undefeated for that long of a time? Yes. Is he going to be a Hall of Famer? Yes. But come on, don't even for a minute put him in the same breath as a Floyd Mayweather Jr. or anyone else for that matter. That's that upper echelon fighter. He deserves to get his accolades for retiring at 45-0 or whatever it was, close to it, or 46-0, whatever it is. But that's it. All right. Just like I feel that Bernard Hopkins is going to get into the Hall of Fame because of his defensive skill and his longevity and nothing else. Definitely he's not going to get any personality points. Not that matters. But the same goes true, in my opinion, with Joe Calzaghe. So please don't mention. As much as I hate Mayweather, that statement does not. It doesn't. It just rubs me the wrong damn way.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
Broadcasting in all corners of the globe, on the web and radio.
He would scoff at a stretcher, that man, I would think.
You're listening to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. From upstate New York in the good old U.S. of A.
Boxing is here to stay because we are here to stay.
The best 2 hours of boxing talk on the airwaves.
Hey, fight fans, check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters, track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man. www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Join it today. Again, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com, and tell them Billy C sent you.
Now back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C., the only radio host man enough to take a punch from Mike Tyson.
Wait a minute, man. Hold on there. Jeremy, man, I need you to take this one, all right?
Wait, what? No way. I can't do this.
Need I remind you I'm Billy C, damn it? Now put on that mustache and get in there.
Hey, look at me. I'm Billy C. Crap.
The undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. It's Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. My fellow Americans, good evening. Welcome back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It's great to be here discussing the sweet science with everybody. I love boxing. I love talking boxing. It's what I do.
Bill.
Wait, what?
Bill.
Why are you interrupting me? What?
Wrong.
What's
wrong,
the problem?
Billy C.
I did not have...
We're gonna have to ask you.
Wrong speech. What do you mean wrong, Billy C? What's going on here? Fine, I'll go. I just wanted to talk some boxing on TPSradio.net. That's all I wanted to do. I don't need your damn show. I'll get my own talking wrestling with the other Billy C. Yeah, that sounds good. I've always been a Hulkamaniac anyway.
Broadcasting live, brother. Welcome back to Talking Boxing with Billy C. on the mighty TPSradio.net, brother. What you gonna do, brother?
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C., our radio show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. I want to welcome the Fight Now audience. Just join us like they do every day. Sorry you, missed the first half of the show, first half hour of the show, but you're getting the best part. You got to have Fight Now on your sports channel lineup. In case you don't, visit their website for all the info, www.fightnow.com. And speaking of Fight Now, don't forget, we're going to do a post-fight show. Manny Pacquiao, Timothy Bradley, immediately following the show. Tune in right here on Fight Now. It's the only place you're going to be able to get it, so check it out. I got my man David Allen is killing me. That's why if you're listening live, you got to go into the chat room, man. I know we got all these feeds all over the place, and there's other chat rooms and stuff. I don't really comment on the other chat rooms. I may respond to something quickly, but I don't talk about what we're talking about here in this chat room. So if you're live right now, check out the chat room at BillyCBoxing.com, and we'll talk about your show. Going to try and get David Allen to our Billy C. Boxing Hall of Fame induction weekend in November, and he's mentioning prices right now, almost $1,000 for airfare from his mansion in London to where our little humble abode is and where we're having the Hall of Fame. But anyway, hey, Edwin La Bomba Rodriguez, like the guy from ESPN. What's his name? I forget his name, but Edwin La Bomba Rodriguez. That's how he would say it. But anyway, he's coming up in a few minutes, man. So stick around for him. We're finishing up the mailbag. Another email from this one's from my man Bobby. He says, "Look, first of all, let's hope Paul recovers and gets healthy." I agree with you on that one, my man. I that's all we care about. He says, say what you want about him, but you can't ever say that this guy never came to fight and brought his A game every time out. His fights were never boring, and he's always poured it all out there for us. I really wanted to see Alvarez versus Williams, but obviously that's not going to happen. So I hope Alvarez fights Molina, even though he stinks up the joint. He's a good challenge. I'd like to see him also maybe fight Lara. Sergio would be awesome. Kirkland's a no-go because he's went he won't be 100% by then. I agree with you about Paul Williams. We have a tendency in the sport to be critical. Like I've said, and I do it myself more than anyone. That guy's a bum. That guy's a tomato can. That guy's this and that. And we're not. For the casual fan, you may take it personal. Like some clown that was in the chat room when no one else was apparently. Cutting everybody's up, cutting everyone's opinion up. But his basis was like, you got to give these guys credit. And, although he was getting a little crazy in there, I agree with the thought process that, in boxing, we have a tendency to call everyone a bum. But we do that, if they're not like a champion. But we do that with other sports, too. Like I've always tried to put it in perspective. If you take a baseball player or a football player, American football, or even a basketball player, and the guy that's the worst guy on that team, the third string, fourth string, the guy that never gets in, play against him. Have him come over and go to the local high school and have a game. The guy would, run circles around anyone compared to the upper echelon fighters, some of these opponents we could call a bum or whatever. Paul Williams clearly, at least attempted to give it his all, and in the times he didn't come out on top, people caught up with him, and I agree with what Bobby's saying, and I hope nothing but the best for Paul Williams. Bobby goes on to say, and for Hawk to say Calzaghe's status, reign, or career in general is better than Floyd, you're absolutely delusional. He says Calzaghe is the definition of overrated. He had 3 good wins in his entire career. One was over Hopkins. By the way, that fight was when Hopkins was 150, who was more than half of everyone he thought he lost. Kessler, who was consistently a top guy in the division. Yes, I agree, and he says he gives him credit for Kessler. I give Calzaghe credit for the Kessler fight, too. But it was a close one. And Lacey, who was overrated himself. Yeah, but Lacey, you do have to give him credit for it, and I think Bobby is here. At the time, Lacey was not. We look at him as being overrated now, but at the time, and this was what I was talking about when I first brought up Lacey, those 3 same opponents that my man Bobby is saying, I mentioned too. And those were his best fights, but they all came at the end, whatever. He says, but he was a consistently, top. He says Calzaghe. He says he was overrated himself. Talking about Lacey, he says Calzaghe ducked everyone else and dropped out of more fights than his promoters could count. That's true too. Calzaghe signed fights and then dropped out of them. Plus, he refused to leave his hometown. So. EQX, my man EQX says Juan Manuel Marquez did look buff all of a sudden for the Manny fight. They can't make it legal to use PEDs. That stuff is not good for your body, and sometimes you really don't know what you're putting in it. He says we have to remember that hormones, steroids, etc., are serious drugs and are banned because they are dangerous. First, it's boxing's turn to clean up. All the other athletes in other sports stop using only because of stronger testing and oversight. I agree, and I was saying that about football and baseball and everything else, but that's the problem with steroids. There's so much pressure, and I'm not defending the athletes that use them, but there's so much pressure on our athletes to perform. First of all, we're always saying, well, they got to be a role model. They're making all this money and all this stuff. But there's so much pressure on them to perform and compete, and it's almost like like Chris Rock says, I don't agree with it, but I understand. I do. I understand the pressure that they're on, and I don't agree with it, but I understand. But he goes on to say, I remember Floyd saying that the drug use got so bad in a sport like baseball, football, etc., that the only options for him was either to start using or require drug testing like the Olympics. We sometimes forget that boxers in the Olympics have to undergo more stringent testing than the pros. De La Hoya, Floyd, Ali, Cotto, Tarver, and just about every other great that went to the Olympics. But obviously now there's a little cloud hanging over Floyd about PEDs, EQX, so read up on that, Max Montoya stuff. He says, I wonder, I love this one. He says, hey, I wonder how that outdoor stadium Bob Arum spoke about's coming along. Hey, I think they finally got the foundation poured. Love that. Good one. That's a good one. In case you forgot, that was one of the stumbling blocks, remember, when Floyd and Manny were supposed to fight this last time. Bob Arum said, we're constructing the sign, man. Give us another couple of weeks. Yeah, they never started that. We got Bajorn says, according to the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Manny's guarantee for the Bradley fight is $6 million. It really hurts his 50-50 argument when Floyd got $32 million guarantee, and Cotto even got $8 million. Arum is taking advantage of this guy right in front of our noses, and well, he says eyes, I say noses. He says now Floyd's $40 million offer doesn't look so bad. No, he's right. Who's negotiating on Manny's side? We all know he's going to get stiffed on the back end, and if he's only getting $6 million up front. I feel like Manny's a child, and Arum is Sandusky from Penn State, and we're watching him get raped and can't do anything about it. They say that he's getting back. They say he's getting the back end of the fight, but we haven't seen this before with Oscar and Arum. When Oscar was with Top Rank, he took a lesser amount up front to get the back end profits, which Arum cheated him out of, and Oscar subsequently left Top Rank. It is sad. And, that's the only thing I can say, Bajorn, is that, that's Manny's problem. That should not, prevent anyone from making a fight between Floyd and Manny or Manny and anyone else. Manny chose to sign with Top Rank. That's the deal. You make an agreement and you sign a contract, and that's the way it is. Do I agree with you? Yes, he should make more. Should he be making more than Cotto did against Floyd Mayweather? Of course he should. But you know what? That's his problem, man. Manny's problem is that, he signed with Top Rank. If he wants to get out of that deal, then he should not renew when and if that's up, or he should walk away from the sport or whatever. I agree. It's a shame. But it's not. We shouldn't worry about that. And as far as a 50-50 split, again, the emphasis isn't on 50-50 goes, 50% goes to Manny Pacquiao, 50% goes to Floyd Mayweather. It's 50% goes to Team Pacquiao, 50% goes to Team Mayweather. If Mayweather gets to keep, let's say it's $100 million. If Mayweather gets to keep 90 out of 100, and Manny Pacquiao ends up with 10 out of 100, then, hey, more power to Floyd. That should not be a stumbling block. The purse split is the purse split. However it gets split amongst your team, that's nobody's problem but the team. So more power to Mayweather for making more money. You can't argue that. My man, Alex T., the other Alex, he says, he's telling me, okay, now we got actually two Alex T's. We got Alex T and Alex T2, which is Alex T's son. My main man is Alex T2. And I want to give a shout-out to Alex T2. He caught his first bass. Big Alex T knows that I'm a fisherman and I like to fish. And he says his son, Alex, caught his first bass on Saturday. And last year he got to catch a catfish and a pickerel, but he never caught a bass, so this was his first one. And he wanted to share with me, and I appreciate it. And the reason why I'm reading this out here now is because I wanted to give a thumbs up to my man, Alex T. II. And congratulations. I saw a picture of that beauty, and I saw the picture of the happiness, the smile on Alex T's face. I love it. There's only one thing I got to tell you. My big little man, Alex T2, you need to stop letting your dad force you to wear that Boston Red Sox hat, man. I'll send you a Mets hat if you promise to wear it, all right? I think you'd look a lot better with a Mets hat on than that Boston Red Sox hat, man. Come on. But congratulations to Alex T2 for catching his first bass. He says, here he is, and Alex is saying he's sitting in the boat. Alex T. the Pop's saying he's sitting in the boat with his $200 reel and rod combo, and his kid catches the bass of the day on a spinning, on a push button spinning thing rod with a bobber and a worm. And I promised him I would share a story. I'm going to do it real quick as I see Edwin's here. One time I took my sister fishing with me when we were younger, and it was just like, yeah, come on along with me. So I did the same thing. Here I am, and I've been fishing for a long time. So, I said, here you go, Nance, and I hook her up with a rod and a reel, same thing, push button, the whole thing, cast it out in the weeds. And I said, just sit here, and I'm fishing with all my expensive stuff, and all of a sudden her rod is all bent, and it's bent over, and she's going, I think I got something, Billy. I think I got, oh, yeah. You snagged, right? And sure enough, it looked like she was snagged. So she's sitting there, and all of a sudden I'm watching a reel ping, the top of the cover, the reel pops off, and, I'm hearing all this stress going on. And she's going, I think I'm getting pulled in. I go over there, and I grab the rod, and sure enough, man, she pulls out. I helped her bring it in, and literally it broke the fishing reel apart, and the push button rod and reel was not strong enough for this fish. It was close to a 6-pound bass that she caught, same thing, on a bobber with a worm and all this stuff that you wouldn't fish for a bass for, my sister. And she brags to me to this day about catching the biggest bass, because I have yet to catch a 6-pound bass, ever. And she pulled one in, and she caught it on all the crappy equipment I gave her. So, Alex T, too, congratulations. You showed your father that money isn't everything when it comes to equipment. One last thing from Alex Sr. He says, today's one of these days when I'm loving being a premium subscriber, because I'm listening to Monday's show on Tuesday. I'll tell you another thing, for what it's worth, the sound quality on the podcast is much better than when you're listening online. He says, I can thank him for the commercial. He's right, man. That's why you need to be a premium podcast subscriber. He says, by the way, have you seen the article that Joe Santoliquito wrote on David Reed? And I have not seen that article. So if somebody could forward to me, that would be great. Hey, listen, I got to shift gears right here. Thanks for all the emails. What we're going to do right now is speak with Edwin Rodriguez. He's right here. Hold on one second.
The undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio with no worthy contenders. It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C, a radio show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel, and if you don't have Fight Now on your sports channel lineup, what the hell are you waiting for? Call your local television provider, whether it's a satellite or cable provider. You tell them that you want the Fight Now channel added to your sports channel lineup. It's that simple. And for all the information about the channel, you can find it on their website, www.fightnow.com. And speaking of now, joining us is world-ranked super middleweight contender Edwin La Bomba Rodriguez. Good morning, Edwin.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, I appreciate you coming back on the show. And I tell you, I've been watching your career, and, it seems to me that ever since you fought and beat James McGirt for the USMBC super middleweight title back in 2010, you've really stepped up your level of opposition. Tell us about what made you feel and what made your team feel that you were ready to get to the next step.
Ever since I turned pro, we were working with strength and conditioning and just, working hard to try to get to the next level. And, after I beat James McGirt, it was just an eye-opener that I was ready to, fight contenders and get ready to fight for a title.
Now, in your last fight, you had, I thought, really your toughest opponent to date in Don George, and I couldn't wait for that fight because both of you guys are known for punching power and everything else. But you seem to step it up a notch in that fight. Now that the fight's over and everything else, why don't you tell us what your assessment of your performance in the Don George fight was?
Ronnie Shields had a really good game plan. We worked on it for about 8 or 10 weeks. I was just trying to prove to everybody that I'm not just a brawler, that I could also box. And I showed a different side of me in that fight.
Well, I tell you, it opens up a lot of doors and a lot of things for your opponents to think about. And we all know Ronnie Shields is no youngster in the sport. I mean, he knows his stuff. And And I guess that had to be some of his thought process, to just have your opponents from here on in start thinking a lot in the ring, maybe too much, right?
Yeah, and that's how we want him. You know, a lot of people were expecting me to come out and brawl with Donovan George, and Donovan George is a big puncher. He's a very good fighter. I saw his power in the ring, and you know, he just couldn't hit me. He couldn't catch me. So you know, why get hit if you could be able to fight him like that? You know, I'm not gonna fight like that all the time, but you know, in that fight, that was the perfect style to fight a guy like Donovan George with power with both hands. And you know, I got to thank Ronnie for preparing me for that fight the way he did, and me getting the job done.
Well, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I've been in the business a long time, and you're at that magic number, that 21 wins, and even to add to that, you've never tasted defeat. What's next for you guys? I know there's been some, you know, talk, and you've been, quoted in the press saying that you're willing to fight anybody. Is there anybody on the horizon for you? Is there anybody specific that you're looking for? Can you fill us in on any of that?
You know, honestly, my promoter, Lou DeBella, has been doing a great job moving me up, and my manager as well. You know, I'm ready for anybody. I'm ready to fight for a world title. I'm ready to fight a contender. I'm ready to fight, you know, anybody that's going to get me to that next level. And I'm doing my job, you know, staying in the gym. I'm right now in training camp with Andy Lee, helping him get ready for Chavez Jr., staying in shape, and just working hard. So I'm doing my part now. I just got to leave it in my promoter's hand, Lou DeBella, and he's been doing a great job about it. So, you know, just got to be patient, wait it out, and wait for my opportunity. I know it's going to come soon.
Well, I know that you've battled some stuff outside of the ring with your beautiful kids and everything else. Is there anything that you can kind of relate going through that struggle with what Paul Williams now all of a sudden is going through? It was reported that he was involved in a motorcycle accident the other night, and the other morning, I should say, and now he's faced with a challenge. If you were able to talk to him right now, what kind of advice could you give him?
You know, stay strong. You know, I was just reading that yesterday, and you know, I almost cried because you know, Paul Williams, a warrior inside of that ring, and you know, it was devastating to hear what happened to Paul. And I wish him the best. I wish him speedy recovery and stay strong and mentally strong. I know it's going to be a tough time, but if anybody could come back from it, that'll be Paul Williams. He's a tough guy, and I wish him the best.
Yeah, you know, he's. It seems to have affected all of us, everybody in the sport. I mean, you know, it's one thing to fight somebody, but it's another thing to fight a different kind of a battle, and you certainly know that. And that's been a struggle for you. How do you keep your focus on your boxing career when you have so many other priorities in your life that, you know, you have to focus on?
You know, my kids were born premature, 23 weeks and 5 days, and they were in the hospital for 120 days, fighting for their life every single day, you know, and it's not easy. It wasn't easy for me. But, you know, life goes on, and you gotta just keep fighting and stay positive, not only for myself, but I had to stay positive for my wife and just keep fighting. And it was just so tough because there was nothing I could have done. There was nothing, you know, it was basically in the doctor's hands and the God's hands, and it's the worst feeling in the world when your kids are fighting for their lives and you can't do anything about it. So it was a tough time for me and my family. But you know, our kids now are 5 years old. They're in preschool. They're doing well. My son does have cerebral palsy, but he's a very happy kid. He's walking, he's running around, and you know, he started to, you know, talk a little bit. So things could have been a lot worse, but they're doing really well. So I'm happy. My wife is happy. The kids are happy, and that's all that matters. So.
Well, I'll tell you, that's all that matters, and that's really good news to hear. And the last thing I wanted to ask you about that is, do you feel that you can draw strength from them, from your family, not just the kids, but also your wife and everything else while you're fighting? And does that help you feel, I want to use the word, maybe it's not the right word, but I'm going to use it, a sense of invincibility where, you're fighting for more than yourself in that ring, and your opponent has to battle you plus all of that feelings inside. Is that something that you apply, or am I off base on that?
Definitely, when I'm training, when I'm fighting, bringing back one of the fights, I was fighting against Kevin Angle, and I got hit with a good left hook, and, he shook me. I was hurt a bit. And all I was thinking about was, my son, he has cerebral palsy. I have to just keep fighting to, give him a better life. And that was my motivation in that fight. And, I have to just shake it off and keep fighting, act like I wasn't hurt when I really was, and, get back on the fight and be able to knock him out in the 6th round. So definitely, and just being with Stephanie Rodriguez, which is my wife, she's just in top of things. She's great with the kids. She's such a amazing person and such a advocate for my kids, especially my son who has special needs. From being able to get him a 1-2-1, and right now I'm going to Houston, Texas to train with Running Shields to try to better myself, to put ourselves in a good position to get to the next level. And just having her and a lot of times she has to stay home with the kids for 8 weeks while I'm gone, and having special needs kids is not easy. And also working, she's a guidance counselor as well. So having a strong woman by my side is definitely a strength that I have, and I'm able to, be able to do what I got to do without having to worry about if the kids are going to be fine, because she's a great mother and a great advocate. I'm glad. I'm happy to have her.
Well, the way your career is moving along, it's like the model of what I tell all the young fighters I work with, and it's like you got to progressively increase the level of your opposition so that when that opportunity comes, for a world title or what have you, that you're a legitimate fighter. And I feel that you and your team have been doing that perfectly. Do you feel that when that time comes, you're going to have the ability to not only win that title but hold on to it for a while and make the money to help you and your family, become financially secure?
Definitely, yeah. I do also feel like our team has done, keep moving me up fight by fight. I'm always fighting somebody better. And, a lot of our prospects, they come up, they don't fight anybody, and then all of a sudden they just throw them in there with a big step up. I feel like we didn't do that. We did it gradually, always fighting somebody better. We defeated prospects, undefeated prospect, national champs, amateur national champs, contender and James McGurk, Aaron Pryor, who's a very awkward and long fighter, and Donovan George, who was a contender with tremendous power, who was able to knock out a very good fighter, who's a good friend of mine as well, who was 17-0 or 16-0 at the time, who's doing really well for himself, top 10 now at 175, Cornelius White. And, just from knowing that, I knew that I had to go in there and be smart when I was fighting Donovan George, because he had that type of power. So we fought, the right opposition and always fighting better opponents to be ready for that next step up,
Well, it clearly makes fighters better, and it certainly has made you better. And I want to thank you for taking the time with us this morning, Edwin. And, I'm in your corner big time, in and outside of the ring. I've been following your career, and I love what I see. There's only one thing that makes me nervous. You're from Massachusetts and stuff, and I'm a Jets fan, man. And please, Are you a Patriots fan? Are you going to tell me right now that you're a New England Patriots fan?
I gotta be. From New England, we got great team. Boston, the Red Sox. Well, we're doing bad now. Celtics. So, we're still in. You guys are out.
Well, I'll tell you what, brother. I don't have anything against the Red Sox. I'm a Mets fan, so I don't have anything against the Red Sox. So I probably hate the Yankees even more than you do. But when it comes when it comes to football, man, the Patriots is just it's just that team that's always kills us every year.
The Mets are I actually like the Mets as well. So they always have a lot of Dominican players in their teams. So I like the Mets, so I think we're cool.
All right, all right, man. We'll just be on opposite sides when the Patriots and the Jets play each other. But man, I wish you all the luck in the world. Please keep us posted as you move on, and as soon as you get something announced, let us know. We'd love to have you back on.
I'll welcome you back on. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, brother. Take care.
Hi, take care.
That's my man Edwin La Bomba Rodriguez, and he's a Patriots fan, man. But I knew it. I knew he was. I mean, he's out of Massachusetts. What a great story. And I tell you what, they're doing the right thing with La Bomba. They're moving him along, increasing his level of opposition. That's the way to do it. When this kid gets his shot, he's not only going to win at, he's going to continue to be a champion, and that's what makes or breaks a fighter. You don't want to just get him in a position to fight that fight. You want to get him in a position to fight the fight and win the fight and fight another day. Hey, listen, man, I got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Talkin' Boxing with Billy C now has official merchandise available on TalkinBoxing.com. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and mugs. And yes, even undergarments. Talkin' Boxing apparel is the perfect gift for the boxing fan in your life. Log on to www.talkinboxing.com. That's TalkinBoxing.com and place your order today.
Join us here for 2 hours as Billy and the gang do what they do best.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out their ass. Rocky Marciano was good, but compared to Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano ain't.
He beat Joe Louis's ass.
Joe Louis was 75 years old when he fought.
Huh? What?
We're supposed to be talking boxing.
It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
As Billy C sits here in the multi-million-dollar Talkin' Boxing studios, sipping a fine wine before you're even out of bed, you should be thinking, damn, I wish I had a mustache like his. It's the Talkin' Boxing with Billy C show. He's Billy C, and you're not. Sucks to be you.
Now let's dig into our archives and hear a rare interview when Billy C first became the champion of boxing talk radio. Hello, Billy C. As the new champ, can we ask you a few questions?
Why, certainly.
Okay, your fans would like to know how you and your corner have successfully walloped the competition.
We're not ordinary people. We're morons.
Anything else?
I'm a victim of circumstance.
Did your success finally come when you made the show 5 days a week for 2 hours? What do you think?
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Now, please tell the listeners what you've learned from making it this far.
Certainly. If at first you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed.
Great words of wisdom, Billy C. Keep up the great work as the undisputed People's Champion with your show, Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. Any last words to anyone who's listening?
This is your fault, you bonehead.
And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C radio show. Give a shout out to WMML in Glens Falls. What's up, guys? Make sure you swing by the old Halftime Bar and Grill, Route 9, South Glens Falls. Don't forget, we're also doing a pro boxing event in Whitehall. That's right, Whitehall, at the Whitehall Athletic Club. You may remember it as the Whitehall Armory, but check it out. It's happening July 20th. So make sure you tune in right here on WMML to get the latest information on that. Make sure you get tickets early. It's going to sell out. The venue is beautiful for boxing, and it seats about 1,000 people. So make sure you make your plans now. And also, we are coming to you live on Fight Now TV. That's right. For all the Fight Now viewers that are watching us from their home or wherever, maybe your girlfriend's home, you lucky son of a you-know-what. If you plan on coming on up to the Lake George area in July, make sure you mark it down for the 20th and swing by and have a night of fights at the Whitehall Athletic Club. Check it out, www.whitehallathleticlub.com. Johnny Tapia, unfortunately, we lost him, and he's had a turbulent career in boxing, and he's had a turbulent life. Our very own Austin Colleen did a really good job with a write-up on Johnny Tapia. Now, in case you don't recall, Austin Colleen lives in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and he had sent me an article on Johnny Tapia. Unfortunately, because of the storm that hit this area on Tuesday night, I was not able to post it until late yesterday. So if you haven't had a chance to read it, it is up on BillyCBoxing.com. I highly recommend it. He's got some great quotes from Albuquerqueans. Is that correct, Austin? Austin better check me out. Better correct me. But people from Albuquerque, damn it, that knew Johnny Tapia. Take a minute and read it. It's up on BillyCBoxing.com. You could check it out either right on the front page or in Austin's column. So check that out. And speaking of Johnny Tapia, they released the 911 call, which is kind of who really wanted to hear that, what this call was like. I mean, what's it? I don't mean to, but what's up with the media, man? And I know I fall into that category, and a lot of times I'll talk about stuff, this one's going to jail, that one doing it. It's my job, I mean, we try to bring news to you. This is opinionated, so I bring news and then I give you my opinion, and then I look for your interaction. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? And if you're sitting there shaking your head saying, Billy, you're an idiot, you're this, you're that, that's cool, man. Just tell us, because I want to be able to throw that back and forth. Not that I want to be an idiot, but I have my opinions, and what makes this sport so great is that it's very subjective. And if you sitting here listening to a show or watching a show on Fight Now or the other places that you can watch it, then we want to hear from you, man. So take a minute and drop us an email or post a comment or something, and we will respond to it just like we do. And I am going to tell you what was in the Associated Press about the 911 call that the authorities released. Apparently, Teresa Tapia, who's Johnny Tapia's wife, says, she's screaming into the phone, saying we need to get somebody here. And then her sister, which was Johnny Tapia's, of course, sister-in-law, is trying to be the calm one there. And she's saying he's stiff and he's purple. And the person on the phone is saying, well, let me tell you how to start, CPR. And, sister calmly says, he's gone. He's gone. So they are going to have a public memorial. It is set up for the Pit. It's in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it's one of the biggest facilities. It's at the University of New Mexico, and it's the Pit is the auditorium or the venue or whatever at University of New Mexico. It's taking place Sunday night. It starts at 6 p.m. The service is going to actually begin at 7, but the doors open at 6. If you're in the New Mexico area or if you plan on traveling, do it, will you? Will you go pay your respects to him? Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be there. I am going to be in New Mexico. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to be calling the Holly Holm and Sophie Mathis rematch. So, I hope to be able to hook up with the family of Johnny Tapia and give them my condolences, especially Teresa. So hopefully, my man Austin can make that happen. So Johnny Tapia, his funeral or services will be on Sunday. At UNM's The Pit. So, and speaking of some sad stuff. Paul Williams, we all know, was involved in a motorcycle accident. It was reported that the police have determined that it was his fault because he was driving at a high speed, and it was, quote, traveling too fast for the conditions. They have not issued any charges at this time, but they're still investigating this whole incident. As far as Paul Williams goes, have you ever seen a more positive individual? I said this the other day on the show. He's way more of a man I could ever dream about being. I don't know if I would have this positive outlook as him. I got bummed out when my car got destroyed from golf ball-sized hail, and let alone waiting around for surgery, which was supposed to take place yesterday. It did not. They postponed it. There was really no reason given why. At least there was no reason released why they postponed it. So we'll keep you posted and let you know as soon as we know. But as far as Paul Williams, he said, I'm going to be able to sit up on my own, and then I'm going to walk, and then I'm going to return to the ring. That's how I feel. Amazing. That's all I can say. Amazing about Paul Williams, and I will be praying that this man not only walks. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it one step at a time, because I think if he walks, there's going to be a huge positive. But oh my God, it will be a miracle if he's ever able to fight again. But I think it's great that Paul has a positive attitude. And speaking of positive attitudes, it makes the world go round, and I think that is going to help him conquer this, if anything else will. Sergio Martinez, who is linked with Paul Williams with their two fights, gave his condolences the other day. He said, and I quote, "Upon learning of Paul's injuries, I was deeply saddened." He said that when you're in the ring with a real champion, you know it. And Paul Williams was a very great champion in every sense of the word. Paul and his family are in my thoughts and prayers through this very difficult time. And I think that was a classy thing for Sergio Martinez to do. But then again, no one ever said that Sergio Martinez wasn't a classy character. So, again, and I have some other news, too. Not about Paul Williams and not about Johnny Tapia, but about a good friend of mine and, an excellent fighter in his own right, Alex the Bronx Bomber Ramos. We told you that my man Dave and Debbie Wilcox, who does the Glove to Glove, they've picked up the reins for the Glove to Glove organization that Rusty Rubin started. They gave us an update, and Jackie Richardson, who's really the big link between Alex Ramos and the boxing community, sent out an update on his surgery. Remember, I told you last week he was undergoing a surgery to drain his brain of the fluids that's causing him to have some unbalance and everything else. Jackie said Alex is out of surgery, and his doctor, who's Dr. Herman, said it went very well. He just saw him in recovery. He opened his eyes. He asked the doctor how long the surgery would take. When the doctor told him it was all over, Alex grinned. He said he's going to be moved to the ICU unit because when patients that have the lumbar drains, is what this procedure is called, they put them in that unit. He says Alex is going to be waking up, which apparently he woke up yesterday afternoon, and she's going to keep us up to date on his recovery, and she wants everyone to know that Alex Ramos wants to thank all of you for your love and support. So I give a thumbs up to my man Alex Ramos, great guy, and once again, all the credit in the world to Dave and Debbie Wilcox for keeping us up to date and keeping us in the loop with all this kind of stuff with their Glove to Glove organization. It seems to be a trend in the sport of boxing, in today's sport of boxing, and it started. I'm sure Golden Boy. I'm sure Oscar De La Hoya wasn't the first, but it's kind of taken on a new life. And what I'm talking about is when fighters become promoters after their boxing careers. And a lot of them, like Saul Alvarez, one comes to mind right then, becomes a promoter even before their boxing career is over. And there's a new one in the mix now, and that's Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. That's right. He started a promotional company, and it's called Chavez Jr. Promotions, and his very first event will be taking place June 8th in Mexico. And I guess I want to wish them all the luck in the world. The main event, which I started to say, is I guess the main event, but then I got off onto it because I can't pay attention. Still thinking about my damn car. But Saul Roman and Alfredo Contreras is going to be the main event taking place on Chavez Jr. Promotions, first card, and that's June 8th. So make sure you mark that one down for your boxing viewing pleasure. And speaking of boxers turned promoters, Golden Boy has made it official since the tragedy that struck Paul Williams. They are looking for another opponent for Saul Alvarez for the September 15th fight. They were looking at James Kirkland and Austin Trout. Those are apparently the two names that are in the mix right now. James Kirkland is coming back from an injury, and Austin Trout is scheduled to fight Delvin Rodriguez on Saturday. Fight Now is going to be broadcasting the Fast and Furious fight card, which is taking place June 8th, live from Montreal. So check that one out. And if you don't have Fight Now, man, it's a good reason to get it. As a matter of fact, you should get it beginning next week. You should get it right now. But beginning next week, we're going to be doing the post-fight Pacquiao-Bradley show on Fight Now. So as soon as you get Fight Now added to your sports channel lineup, you'll be able to watch the post-fight show live, as well as the Fast and Furious. And I don't have the schedule, but I'm sure they're going to have some preliminary bouts as well. So Fight Now is playing an active role. I do, they are also doing some stuff with streaming and everything, but that's a whole nother story. But anyway, we got. David Allen is telling me in the chat room, Arnold Thomas, who I met a couple of years ago when Carol Doyle, who was at our BillyCBoxing Hall of Fame induction weekend last year to accept the award for Sam Langford, she accepted an award from Arnold Thomas, who's the Australian Boxing Hall of Fame guy, the big cheese, and we had a get-together. Actually, that's where I think I met David Allen. We had a get-together that they chose to end up having this ceremony at our get-together. And he's telling me that Arnold Thomas is going to be at the Hall of Fame. He's going to the Hall of Fame next weekend, I'm assuming. I would love to have him come to ours. But if he's going to that, David, tell him to definitely hook up with me. Give him my contact information. I would love to see him again. Speaking of doing it again, how about Anne-Sophie Mathis against Holly Holm? Now, Anne-Sophie Mathis has said, that she doesn't think anything's going to change for the second fight. As a matter of fact, she said this is going to end the same way. She's going to win by knockout. She said, and I quote, "I think this fight will be harder, and I feel that I need a knockout to beat her again." Which I agree with her, because I know that Team Holm is not going to do the same thing, and they are going to try to outbox her the way she easily can. And Sophie Mathis knows this, and she said, I don't think she's going to come out looking to be confrontational, which is, she already learned what happens when you do that, and she says, I'm certain there's an advantage for me having knocked her out, especially knowing when I'm fighting the same opponent in the same place. Physically and mentally, I'm going to be 100% for this fight. I haven't changed a thing since our first fight. I've continued working to improve my technique and my mental approach. I study my opponent, so I am as prepared as I can be. She says, I don't disrespect anybody, but I trust in myself and my work. So she says, for me, it's impossible to change your style in a few months. and she said she's going to return to her natural sources. I've studied most of her fights, and I know much more about her than she knows about me, and because of that, I feel I'm going to win again. I'm not going to say much more other than I will be stronger than I was in our first fight, and I am very strong. I expect her to fight defensively, trying to touch me and then escape to avoid confrontation. No matter what the results of this fight are, I hope to face Brackus at the end of the year or probably start thinking about retirement. Brackus ain't all that. That's all I'm going to say. She won't even fight Chevelle Halbach again. Brackus and Mariam Lamari, they fight fighters like Chevelle Halbach, and then they run scared. But anyway, Anne-Sophie Mathis is an opponent that is a fighter that no opponent wants to fight, especially after watching what she did to Holly Holm last time out. Viva Don King numero dos. That's Viva Don King number 2 for you non-Spanish speaking people. It's all set for June 23rd. It's going to be at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. And what's going to be going on? Well, Joey Twinklefingers Hernandez is going to be taking on Angelo Racobla Santana. I just hate that Twinklefingers nickname for a fighter. I mean, I know the lesbians like it, but, come on, man. Come on. For a fighter, and I heard the story. His mother gave him the thing because he used to twinkle his little fingers and play with his little fingers all the time. And you call him Twinklefingers. But, for a fighter, it's like, you could say a fighter like Paul, the Powder Puff Pencil, something like that. No. And that's why Paul the Punisher Williams, that was a good one, Joey Twinklefingers, but that's the main event. Now the co-main event is going to feature Tony TNT Grano. Oh God, I gotta laugh every time I hear his name. What a fraud he is, right? But nonetheless, 19 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 15 knockouts out of Connecticut. Now he's taking on a guy that not only did he fight on some of my shows. Now remember, the last show that I did was the early 2000s. I think 2004 might have been, maybe either 2003, 2004. And Touch of Sleep Williamson fought on a card I promoted. And he's got to be well into his 40s now. He's got to be, because he actually started late. He's always a great guy. I love him personally. Darrell, Touch of Sleep Williamson. He's 27 wins, 6 losses, 23 coming by knockout. And he's taking on Tony Grano. Let's see what happens there. It is a vacant title on the line. It's the NABF title. Tony TNT Grano is just a fraud, and the guy doesn't train, he thinks he's all that, and he's just not. And if not that I think that Williamson should be even fighting right now, but I'll tell you who I'm going to be rooting for. Guess who? But anyway, it's taking place June 23rd in Florida, and hopefully, hey, maybe I'll even be there. I think I might even be down there around that time. Another fight that was announced recently was the official announcement that, yes, Danny Swift Garcia and Amir Khan, now who likes to go by the name King Khan, is going to get it on. We had talked about this, I believe, last week even, but it's officially official now. July 14th, it's taking place at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. But that doesn't bother me. But what was made official, too, was the co-main event, Seth Mitchell against Jonathan Banks. Here's my hang-up with this fight. First of all, I don't have a hang-up with Khan and Danny Garcia, although I think Danny Garcia may be rushing it a little bit. Yes, he's been on the big stage before. Yes, he's a blue-chip fighter that has been, brought up since the time he turned pro to this opportunity right now. And, he's a tough kid and all of that stuff. I think Amir Khan is a notch above him. It may be a little too soon for Danny Swift Garcia, but I don't have a problem with that fight. You know, you got two young guys, and as far as Amir Khan goes, we know he's been beaten before. He's been stopped before. He is susceptible. I happen to like Amir Khan. I didn't like all the crybaby antics that he did. But the bottom line is I don't have a big problem with that fight. However, the Seth Mitchell and Jonathan Banks fight, I do have a problem with, and I'll tell you why. You know, the thing with Seth Mitchell is that he's being regarded right now as the biggest prospect out of the United States in the heavyweight division. You know, he's the hottest American heavyweight prospect, all this stuff. Everybody's putting this guy, already into a match with one of the Klitschko brothers. And my hang-up here is this. In his last fight, he fought Chaz Witherspoon. Now, I'm not saying Chaz Witherspoon is a killer. I'm not saying he's a killer, but he was a recognizable name and a formidable foe. All right? And I think that Seth Mitchell proved a lot by beating Chaz Witherspoon, especially the way he did. And, oh, by the way, don't forget that Chaz had him in all kinds of trouble in that first round. All right? With all that said, you would think that Seth Mitchell, a guy who's vying for a heavyweight shot, a heavyweight title shot against one of the bigger names in either Klitschko, not Povetkian, who's got the layup against Rahman. I'm sure all the heavyweights are dying to fight Alexander Povetkian, because he's a fraud, almost as bad as Grano and BJ Flores. But the bottom line is, I much would have rather have seen Seth Mitchell fight a much better fighter. I'll give you an example. We just put our rankings up. If you want to check them out, they've been posted for the last couple of days on the BillyCBoxing.com. In the heavyweight division, Seth Mitchell could have easily have fought any of the other top 10, aside from the top 3, which are the heavyweight champions. You got Tomaz Adamak, you got Chris Arreola, you got Tony Thompson, Derek Chisora even, Kubrat Pulev, Robert Halinas, Dennis Boystov. Those are all in our top 10, and all would have been a great matchup for Seth Mitchell. Even sprinkle in a guy like Ruslan Shigaev or Maurice Wach, even Tyson Fury, even David Price, or throw in Orlando Solis, or even the young Bryant Jennings. I would have accepted any of those fights more than the guy who he's fighting, Jonathan Banks. And the reason why is Jonathan Banks is nothing more than a puffed-up cruiserweight. And I'm not taking anything away from Jonathan Banks as a cruiserweight, but as a heavyweight, he's going to be a small heavyweight, and Mitchell is actually regressing, I think. I think he's fighting a lesser opponent than who he just beat. Now, some might say, well, he's entitled to do that. But come on, this isn't going to give us a true gauge. How can you say you're the best guy around when you're not fighting the best fighters? He could have gotten just as, even a Tyson Fury or one of those other fights is a bigger demand fight. Jonathan Banks is virtually an unknown fighter for people outside the diehard fan like we are. I mean, who else knows about Jonathan Banks? I don't like to fight. I don't like to fight. Because, when Seth Mitchell knocks out Jonathan Banks, which he's going to, he's going to be pounding his chest. He's going to be thanking the Lord for giving him the strength to beat this guy. And everybody's going to look at the record, because that's what the networks do, and that's what the promoters try to cram down our throats. They're going to say, well, Jonathan Banks has got 30 fights, and he's only lost one. He's 28 wins, a loss, and a draw. This is a quality fighter. Yeah, for all you people out there that don't know boxing, that think you know boxing, if you're looking at Jonathan Banks' record and you're saying that he's a quality opponent, you know what? What's the term? You don't know Jack?
The 2012 Summer Olympic Games unfold in 5 months in London. The honor and the history of playing host goes back a long way. How long? That's next on Sports Shorts with me, the Sports Princess.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Stouffer's, helping bring your family together with wholesome dinner options, even on the busiest of nights. Find dinner table ideas to bring your family together at letsfixdinner.com. To get kids involved in dinnertime conversation, ask specific questions, not broad ones. Instead of what happened today at school, try what was the best thing that happened today. The more specific you are, the more they'll have to say. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Legend has it that the Olympics go back to Hercules, but let's leave Greek mythology out of it. The modern games opened in 1896. Since Athens couldn't afford to put them on, a businessman ponied up the coin. Pole vaulting, weightlifting, shot put, and swimming, few of the handful of events. Since those days, some of the original sports remain. Others come and go, depending on the whims of the International Olympic Committee. Australia, France, Germany, and China have hosted summer games, and this will be the third time for London. As for the winter games, the U.S. has hosted them 4 times since they started in 1924 in France, featuring sports like alpine cross-country skiing, figure skating, and such. Between the summer and the winter games, there are hundreds of sports and thousands of athletes. You never know what city is going to get a crack at hosting next. I'm the Sports Princess with Sports Shorts.
Talking Boxing with Billy C. Every week, 2 hours of the best boxing talk on the radio.
Mike Tyson looked like he put on some pounds. He was fat. He went into McDonald's and he just said to them, hey, give me 6 of everything on the menu. He put on 2 watches and covered 2 time zones. I'm talking fat here. Got on the scale the other day and it said, come on, one of you guys got to get off. Last thing I heard is that he jumped into the ocean and he left a ring around the continent. He's fat.
Boxing with Billy C.
Now back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. He may not have an Excellence in Broadcasting award, but the night's still young.
And he's got martinis.
So you never know what may be by morning. It's Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
The one, the only, Don King.
Makes me feel good, Billy, to have you, the #1 show in the country, Talking Boxing with Billy. So I invite each and every American that's listening to this great show to tune in, because we want you to be there with Billy and me.
St. Jimmy's coming down across the alleyway, up on the boulevard like it's a gun on parade. Lights on the silhouette, he's just a buttonette, coming at you on the count of 1.
And we're back. And for all you guys out there trying to steal my line, you know who you are. Won't mention any names, but his initials are Tony Treem. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Just remember. And we're back. You're listening to Talking Boxing with Billy C. radio show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. And if you don't have the Fight Now channel on your sports channel lineup, you need to call your local television provider, whether it's satellite dish or cable, and tell them that you want to add Fight Now right now. For all information about the channel, visit their website, www.fightnow.com. And don't forget, every night is Fight Night on Fight Now, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Their website, www.fightnow.com, has the latest listing, so check her out. Check her out. But, Murphy, my regulars in the chat room, we used to, for a couple of weeks there, we had, it was going there pretty good. And Murph's agreeing with me. He says the Jonathan Banks fight is a joke, with Seth Mitchell. Well, here we are. We're all trying to gauge this guy. And now, for all you, marginal boxing fans, for anybody that's listening, which most of our audience is boxing nuts like us, that this fight is a joke, and you can't look at the record. You can't look at that record. It's sort of like Deontay Wilder, 22-0, 22 knockouts. Yeah, 22 knockouts over, the guy selling popcorn, the guy driving the cab, the guy picking up your bags when you check into the hotel, Listen, we've had a lot of discussion about Top Rank, and most of you guys can't stand Bob Arum, and for various reasons or whatever. There's a lot of people out there that blame Bob Arum for everything. As a matter of fact, I think it was Bob Arum's fault that the hail destroyed my car yesterday, or Tuesday. Yeah, it was Bob Arum's fault that me and Alex were having an argument on the phone, and I lost power. Yeah, damn Bob Arum. But all kidding aside, Bob Arum and Top Rank, they actually promote. And when I say promote, we're seeing some stuff, little sprinkles of promotion that's done with other fighters and stuff. But, Top Rank and Golden Boy right now, and Don King really used to do it the best. And as Don King now is entering his twilight years, his interest level has obviously slacked off. So, he's not the player that he was. in the sport. Unfortunately, we don't have a third guy. We don't have a third promoter up there. We have Golden Boy and we have Top Rank, and these two promoters are virtually running our sport. And what makes them so different is their desire to invest money in their fighters, to promote them, to get their name out there, so that when you do have a fight, even if you're not a diehard fan, if you're a marginal fan, or if you're just a casual sports fan, everybody's heard of Manny Pacquiao. Everybody is starting to hear of guys like Bam Bam Rios and so on and so forth. In Top Rank's stable, and of course we hear of these guys in Golden Boy's stable, and Amir Khan, and enough about guys like Seth Mitchell, who is being regarded as the next great American heavyweight, and all this stuff. But here's the thing, like him or not, Bob Arum invests money in his fighters and his trainers, and what's evident about that, and which is proof of the pudding, is yesterday, Freddie Roach, who lives in Los Angeles, and he's been living there since 1992. He's never went to a L.A. Dodgers baseball game at Dodger Stadium until last night. He threw out the ceremonial first pitch, and it was for the Milwaukee Brewers game against the Dodgers, and he threw out the first pitch. Now, the thing is this kind of stuff is what you need in boxing. Now, this isn't the first time a Top Rank person has thrown out the first pitch at a Dodgers game. Nonito Donaire has, and there's been several other fighters that have done this. And what this does, by Top Rank being able to do this, to make this happen, is it puts these guys, in front of, other sports fans. And that carryover is going to help. And other promoters that refuse to pay whatever it cost Bob Arum to get Freddie Roach to go there and to do this and to do that, other promoters aren't willing to do that. And I'll name names, guys like Dan Goosen and Gary Shaw and Star Boxing and Jimmy Birchfield. Jimmy Birchfield doesn't spend a nickel on anything. These are guys that just don't do it. And they've made a career out of promoting fights. Now, a guy like Joe DeGuardia, he promotes a lot of fights. So, on one hand, I can't knock him, but he doesn't invest any money in those fighters. His money that he invests is in the shows, but he's making money on it. So they're not investing money. And therefore, the result of this is why all these promoters look at two promoters in Golden Boy and Top Rank to get the big money fights. Why? Because everyone knows those two promoters' fighters. No one knows the other guys. It was a joint effort to get Gary Shaw and Dan Goosen together to do their fight. To have a fight that they were doing. It's a shame. It's a shame that we have two promoters that are basically running the show here, But anyway, Tavorius Cloud. Talk about good fights. How about this one on August 11th? Tavorius Cloud against Jean Pascal. Man, do I love this one! And it's actually happening up in Montreal. It's going to be broadcast live on Showtime. Tavorius Cloud coming out of Florida is going to be making a world title defense. He has the IBF world light heavyweight title, and he's going to be taking on Jean Pascal, who has not fought in a little bit. Jean Pascal is sitting on a record of 26 wins, 2 losses, and a draw. 16 are coming by knockout, and of course Tavorius Cloud is undefeated. I love this fight, and I love the fact that it's in Montreal. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should start adding this group, Yvon Michel, who's a promoter up in Canada. Maybe I need to start including him in that discussion with the three major promoters, or the two major promoters. Maybe there is three, because Yvon Michel is a guy that's looking promote his fighters. He's a guy that puts up, antes up the money to have fights in Montreal. So all the power to him, man. All the power to him. So look forward to that one, August 11th. Tavares Cloud against Jean Pascal. We'll keep you posted on the rest of the undercard as soon as it gets announced. Now, it's no secret that I've been pretty critical of Jose Sulaiman and the WBC, but I got to give some kudos to Jose Sulaiman. He does this hook to the liver article, and it gets published every Sunday in a Mexican newspaper, the El Universal, which is a Sunday. His hook to the liver gets published on Sundays. And, he wrote an interesting article that appeared last Sunday. And, he gives some great examples. Guys like Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Robinson, he shares that, most of us know, but if you didn't, when he traveled for fights, he used to take his personal cook, a hairdresser, a clothes designer, his friends, and even a comedian just to travel with, and by the time his career was over, he was forced to fight, level fighters that, you shouldn't even put in the same room with him. Even greats like Joe Louis, didn't finish his life with a nickel. And if it wasn't for Frank Sinatra, throwing him some money all the time, he probably would have been homeless. And the list goes on and on and on. And it's amazing that this is a repeated story. And I have to give Jose Sulaiman and the WBC credit because they just started an organization called the Benevolent is how you pronounce it. Friendly Hand Foundation that's going to help generate money and raise money for a pension and medical program for prior world champions. And that will be eligible for this after their 50th birthday. So I got to give credit to Jose Sulaiman. Yes, I'm vocal against him most of the time, but you know what? I give credit where credit's due. Jose Sulaiman gets credit for doing that, and I appreciate that. Vitili Klitschko is not hanging it up yet, but he's talking about fighting again in September. And, he's saying he's looking for a viable opponent and all that stuff. And the name that comes out of town, and the name that comes out of camp Vitili Klitschko is Manuel Char. Are you effing kidding me, man? I mean, if I'm Vitili Klitschko, you need the money that bad to fight one more time, in September. And I agree, he doesn't want to go out with a loss or anything like that. So why doesn't he just hang it up? Does he really have to fight Char? I mean, talk about, diminishing your level of opposition. We all know that his days were numbered. I mean, I would rather have him announce his retirement and let's remember the last fight he had than going in there with Manuel Char. I mean, no disrespect to him. I know the WBC's got him ranked at number 11, but so what? This is a guy that most people never even heard of. And you're talking about fighting Vitili Klitschko, that's the second ranked heavyweight in the world. I think it's a joke. And as a response to that, Marco Captain Huck, he laughs and he says, I bring more to the table than all the tomato cans that Vitili Klitschko is currently negotiating with. Apparently, Klitschko's trainer Fritz Zinduk said that on a Russian boxing website that Vitili Klitschko would eat Marco Huck alive when he was asked about how he would fight. And Huck responded, I respect Mr. Sudnik, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, I am, a lot, but I'm surely no snack for either Klitschko brother. He says, I guess there was a mistake in the translation. I love some of the stuff Huck comes out with. He says, you only have to look at all the names currently being discussed as possible opponents of Vitali for September to know that I would be a far better option than any of those guys that they're talking about. At least I always come to fight. I agree with him, man. I agree with him, and that's why I brought it up. I agree with Captain Huck, and I think if Vitili Klitschko wants to go out, on top, which he will anyway, either not fight at all or fight somebody that we've heard of. Manuel Char, again, no disrespect to him, but come on, man. Come on. I'll tell you what. How about Seth Mitchell? How about him? It seems like they're dying to throw him in there with a Klitschko. Throw him in with him. Come on. This is the equivalent to Alexander Povetkin fighting Hasim Rahman. I think it's sad. Ricky Hatton, he's got his money on Manny Pacquiao. Says Manny Pacquiao is going to beat Timothy Bradley. And he says, but Timothy Bradley is a quality opponent. He says, and I quote, this is from Ricky Hatton, says, Manny Pacquiao is the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world. And he goes into this fight as the favorite. But Timothy Bradley is very slick, and he's a tidy boxer, so this is going to be an easy fight for him, which it's not. And I agree with Ricky 100% on this one. He says, against Junior Witter, we saw how well-schooled Bradley was and how he was able to figure out his style quickly. So I think this will cause Pacquiao some problems. But I think style-wise, this could be even a better matchup than the recent fight between Floyd Mayweather and Miguel Cotto. Mayweather is exceptional defensively and makes you miss, but Pacquiao is a lot more exciting. And when you put him in with Bradley's style, it will make for a great fight. He says Manny needs to come back with a big performance after his fight with Marquez, which many thought he lost. He goes on to say fighters who have a good defense and are counterpunches are those that Manny have trouble with. He says Bradley's going to use his boxing ability and box on his back foot, and that's where he's going to cause Manny a few problems. But Bradley's going to need more than that, to beat him. Everyone's expecting Manny Pacquiao to blast Bradley out. I don't think it's going to be like that, but I expect Manny to win, but it's going to be an exciting fight. I agree with Ricky Hatton, everything he said. As a matter of fact, I found it amusing to see a quote that Timothy Bradley said. He says, we're working on me not moving in with my head as much, instead of moving in and with my head down and throwing a punch. I'm trying to step to the side now and to avoid the headbutt. I forget who I was talking to, but it's like this. If you're a Cy Young Award winning pitcher, or if you're an all-star quarterback and you're going into the Super Bowl or you're going into the World Series if you're a pitcher, that is not the time to adjust your mechanics. A pitcher that is going in, that's had a great year throwing the ball a certain way, doesn't go into the World Series trying something new. A quarterback that's led his team to a Super Bowl doesn't go into the Super Bowl deciding that he's going to start to deliver his passes in a different way. Well, damn it, what the hell is Timothy Bradley thinking? Here's a guy that has gotten himself an undefeated record, got him in a position to fight for arguably the pound-for-pound top fighter in the world today. Most of us that, are proficient in the sport of boxing, we all know that this is not going to be an easy fight for Manny Pacquiao, especially when you factor in all of the personal problems going on with Manny Pacquiao. Yes, the perfect guy is having some issues. He's having some home life issues. He's been caught, with his tool in someone else's box, if you know what I mean. So that kind of stuff is happening. And he's got to overcome that. So he's battling that. He's got to overcome the negativity surrounding his performance against Juan Manuel Marquez. He's got to overcome the positive performance that Floyd Mayweather had over Miguel Cotto. So there's a lot going on for Manny Pacquiao. And Timothy Bradley, a guy that's gotten to this position for fighting a certain way, should not be trying to change his mechanics now. This is ridiculous. I think Timothy Bradley should fight the way he's used to fighting. Because what happens in cases like this, and it's happened many times, where you try to get fighters to do something different. Look at Yuriorkis Gamboa. You can watch every time that Yuriorkis Gamboa has been knocked down, it's because he's trying to stand in box instead of trying to do what he is comfortable with. And as soon as he pops back up on his feet, what does he do? He goes back to the old Yuriorkis Gamboa, and we all know what happens after that because he hasn't lost since. Same thing with a quarterback in football, in American football. How many times do you hear somebody say, well, he was a scrambler in college, so we're going to draft him on our our team to be a quarterback, but we're going to make him a pocket passer. And for years, they try to change this guy's natural ability to scramble around and make things happen, to stand in the pocket and deliver the football. Well, it's no different in boxing, and I think that Timothy Bradley is making a mistake by trying to change his style now, going into the biggest fight of his career. So, bad mistake, Timmy. Bad mistake. Guillermo Jones, apparently he's requested the WBA to grant him permission to fight Joel Godfrey, who's a journeyman, but he wants to fight in the heavyweight division, and he wants to fight on June 23rd. Now, Joel Godfrey's got a record of 14-7-1. Guillermo Jones wants to fight in a 10-round heavyweight fight on this day, and we'll see what happens. Now, he is supposed to be fighting Denis Ledebev as a mandatory title defense, which I tell you what, I want to see that fight. I love Ledebev. Jones can outbox him, but I love Ledebev. So the WBA is going to make a decision on this very quickly. Expect it within the next few days, probably as early as next week. As you know, Michael Oliveira, he's undefeated. This was a guy that was campaigning in the middleweight division. There was once a talk of him moving up to super middleweight. He's moving down in weight to fight an overweight Acilio Freitas. That's taking place this weekend. And reports out of Michael Oliveira's camp is he loves this new weight. As a matter of fact, his trainer, Olandir Cuellar, says that we may even go down to welterweight. That's how good we feel at this weight. So that's a good thing for Oliveira. That's a bad thing for Acilio Freitas, who says, I'm ready. He says, I'm ready for this guy. Don't worry about it. I know he's 14 years younger than me, but I'm ready for him. So we'll see what happens. It's taking place this weekend. One other thing I wanted to mention real quick. There's another fight that's taking place in Florida, in Kissimmee, Florida, or Kissimmee, however you pronounce it. But since I don't pronounce anything right, what the hell is going to change me now? But the main event is going to be David Quiniano, who's 14-2 in junior bantamweight. With 9 of his W's coming by knockout. He's out of Puerto Rico. He's going to be taking on Raul Hidalgado, who's 17-6 out of Chihuahua, Mexico. That's going to be the main event in Kissimmee, Florida, on June 15th. And once again, we're going to be treated to a matchup between Mexico and Puerto Rico. And, man, has that become the top, the top, what am I looking for? Oh, a word. Somebody help me. Give me a word. Isn't, I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, they like to compete, man. It's pretty competitive. Speaking of competitive, we got some good fights this weekend. And these are some ones. I'm still waiting for our Billy C Challenge to be updated at this point in time. We're already in June, so we're getting close to being June. I might as well, it better be ready for next week, because then we can at least have 6 months worth, so we can give some prizes away. But we got some good fights this weekend, starting tomorrow night. Gabriel Rosado against Shrew Powell. That's going to be taking place on the NBC Sports Network, beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern. We also have on that channel, WAPA, at 10 p.m. Eastern, Asenhad Vasquez against Rafael Gonzalez in the junior welterweight division. Antonio Tarver, yes, it's happening Saturday night against Latif Coyote. I don't know how you guys are thinking about this fight, but, I never thought much of Antonio Tarver when he was fighting in somewhat of his prime. I think he does a fantastic job. You guys know this. He does a fantastic job on Showtime, but he's not that good in the ring, in my opinion. And although Latif Coyote isn't exactly polished, I'm telling you, Antonio Tarver is going to get knocked out in this fight. Winky Wright may find himself on the canvas, down and out. I mean, this is a card that's going to be featuring 4 fights, and you got Peter Quinlan going against Winky Wright. Now, Peter Quinlan is no knockout artist, although out of his 26 wins, he's got 20 knockouts. But those 20 knockouts were against the less than stellar opposition that he's had. Winky Wright hasn't fought in a couple of years. He wasn't exciting when he fought. I always liked Winky Wright, but I just don't know. The fight of the night is Austin Trout against Delvin Rodriguez, and I'm looking forward to that. Delvin's ready for this one. 26 wins, 5 losses, 3 draws, 14 come by knockout. Most people remember him or know him from the 2 great fights he had with Paulie Warlock. Austin Trout is undefeated. He is a title holder of 24-0, 14 knockouts. And also, I think that's going to be the best fight of the night. But another one to keep an eye on is Vusi Malinga, 20 wins, 3 losses, 12 knockouts. And Leo Santa Cruz, who's undefeated at 19-0. That's going to be for a vacant title as well, vacant world title. So we got some really good fights on. Don't forget on Fox Sports Network, Bebot Shumanov against Enrique Onales. Our very own Tony Treem will be covering that fight ringside, so I'll be looking for his ringside report on that one. And on Telefutura on June 2nd, Andrew Canincio against Rocky Juarez. Yes, that Rocky Juarez is still fighting, and you know what? We hope he comes out okay on that one. There comes a point in a fighter's career when they're not looking for anything more than a payday.
Wake up. It's time for the...
It's too early for a trivia question.
And today's It's Too Early for a Trivia Question is being sponsored by the Whitehall Athletic Club. Check it out, www.whitehallathleticClub.com. If you're looking to join an athletic club and you're someplace in the Nord country, well, not the Nord country as people consider that, Canada, but if you're somewhere in the Adirondacks, if you're someplace in the Adirondacks, or better yet, if you're living in the Fight Now audience area, if you're down in New York City and you come on up to the Lake George area, you may want to join the Whitehall Athletic Club. There's golf, there's fishing, there's basketball, tennis, there's indoor basketball courts, outdoor basketball courts. There's a gym, there's pools, there's a boating, there's fishing, there's all this kind of stuff, and there's boxing, and it's going to be taking place on July 20th. As a member of the Whitehall Athletic Club, you get all of that included in your package. So check it out, www.Whitehall Athletic Club. They are sponsoring our trivia question today, which is, who fought in the most fights from 1950 to 1959? Who fought in the most fights from 1950 to 1959? Hey, we got a great prize on the line for you. If you get this one right, which you got to email me, Billy@TalkingBoxing. That's TalkingBoxing.com. If you get this right, you're going to win your very own copy of the Title Bout Championship computer game. If you want to find out more information about the Title Bout Championship computer game, visit our website, www.BillyCBoxing.com. And on the left-hand side of the screen, you will see Title Bout Championship computer game banner. Click it, and it'll tell you all about it. So if you know who fought in the most fights from 1950 to 1959, email me, Billy@TalkingBoxing, TalkingBoxing.com, and if you're the first one to get it right, you will win your very own copy of Title Bout Championship computer game. I want to thank the Whitehall Athletic Club for sponsoring our trivia question today, and don't forget, July 20th, we're going to be broadcasting live from the Whitehall Athletic Club in Whitehall, New York. It's going to be coming at you live on Ustream for free, the way all webcasts should be. All webcasts should be for free, damn it. You shouldn't have to pay $4, $9, $10, $11, $14, $29. Who's going to pay $29? The thing is this, what kills me about the webcast is that the promoters and the networks are too lazy to go out and sell advertising. Because, if they were smart enough and if they weren't so greedy, they would realize that the internet, webcast is network television today. We all complain, boxing's not on network television anymore. Well, guess what? We got the potential to reach way more than network television used to reach prior, from the 80s and earlier. Right now with the internet, but people don't watch stuff that they pay for on the internet. It just doesn't happen. Ask yourself. I know you are an internet person. I know you are. Do you pay for anything on the internet? Hell no. So why would you pay for a webcast no matter what it is? It's not the money, it's the principle. So don't pay for a webcast. Watch them for free. Unless I'm doing the broadcast, then you pay for it.
This day in boxing history.
And this day in boxing history is being brought to us by Campanaro and Tomkovich. If you need a lawyer, use the ones that keep my ass out of trouble, and that's Campanaro and Tomkovich. Give them a call today, 845-221-4099. Let Campanaro and Tomkovich knock out your legal problem. 845-221-4099. Campanaro and Tomkovich. And don't forget to tell them when you call them that I'm going to pick up the consultation fee. Campanaro and Tomkovich, 845-221-4099. On this day, May 31st, before I even mention that, my daughter was born on this day, so I want to wish my beautiful daughter happy birthday, Angela. She was born on this day. And also, which happened on this day, May 31st in 1938, Henry Armstrong wins a 15-round decision over Bonnie Rubble. No, not Bonnie Rubble. Bonnie Ross. Yeah, he wins a 15-round decision over Bonnie Ross to win the world welterweight title, and it took place on this day, May 31st in 1938 in Long Island City. Hey, man, that concludes our show for today. I got one more thing to tell you. No, it wasn't me coughing, but you know what it is? Tune in tomorrow morning, same bat time, same bat channel, the Fight Now channel. Call your local television provider and tell them that you want the Fight Now channel AT Sports channel lineup. It's that simple. For all the information about Fight Now, visit their website, www.fightnow.com. Speaking of Fight Now, don't forget Manny Pacquiao, Timothy Bradley, post-fight show here only on Fight Now, immediately following the fight. Hey, we'll see you all tomorrow. Ciao, baby.